we're excited to share with you many cultures represented here at Pierce College within our student body, and just the diversity and vibrancy they bring to our campus, and we hope that we can display some of that for you here tonight. So I'd like to take some time to recognize a few of our special guests we have with us this evening, and personally thank them for the support and the service that they bring to the students and the Department of International Education. So let's see, from the Lakewood City Council member, Mike Brandsetter, I'd like to thank you for being here. The Clover Park School District Board President, Paul Wagman. The President of Lakewood Sister Cities, Connie Coleman, is here. Founder and President of the Asia Pacific Cultural Center, Patsy Sir-O'Connell, is here to join us. As well as the Executive Director of the Asia Pacific Cultural Center, Ms. Lua Pritchard. Chairwoman of the Washington-Tacoma Korean American Association, Sonia Bradley, almost here. President of the Washington-Tacoma Korean American Association, Mr. James Yang, also almost here. Korean Women's Association board members, Chong Damron and D.H. Shin, here to join us. Thank you. And I'd also like to recognize the Department of International Education's Executive Director, Myung Park. We'd like to thank her for her leadership and ambitious goals she has set for her department that has allowed us to do wonderful events like this. So now I'd like to introduce our Pierce College Puyallup President, Marty Cavaluzzi, to say a few words of introduction.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is truly an honor to have you here. I've been grinning all day long just thinking about it, that sometime tonight all of you would walk in this door and we'd all be here to celebrate. So thank you very much for coming. Greatly appreciate it. Just a few things that you may or may not know. The International Education Department at Pierce College, that has many responsibilities. They are involved in the recruitment of students in their various countries, as well as marketing Pierce College around the entire earth, which is a wonderful thing. When an international student applies to Pierce College, they create the immigration documents. They send those documents and help the students, coach them through the visa process. They then arrange for their housing and then perform all the thorough orientations and the registration. They help the students acclimate to life in the United States by creating a multitude of opportunities just to blend in, to the community and just in the school. They do the academic advising and the goal planning, and they guide them through their next goal of choosing universities and navigating through the application process and that transfer process. They also counsel students in all the daily challenges like being homesick or having to find a doctor or a dentist, and even obtaining driver's licenses, which is a lot of fun. They provide them with vast opportunities to participate in amazing activities and field trips and volunteering, and helping them form friendships through the conversation partners and international club and community partners. And if you saw looking at all those photographs, those of you that were looking up, you can just see there's just a lot of things that students get to participate in. It's a wonderful thing. So in addition, our goal here is just to celebrate the cultures of our students, and with our domestic students, so they all learn about other places in the world. They also assist American students in study abroad trips. And in short, our goal is just to internationalize our campus and community and blend our students and making their stay here a great experience. So we are currently serving approximately 350 students from 34 countries. So with that, we're just here to celebrate, so welcome.
So in respect of all of your time, since we are running a little behind, I'd like to bring up our guest speaker, Kristen Tete now, formerly known as Kristen Eddings. She recently got married. Kristen speaks about empowerment of women around the world. She directs communications for the Washington Global Health Alliance, a nonprofit global health organization in Seattle. Kristen was honored by the Seattle Met Magazine as a 2013 Emerging Leader in the Light of Fire Awards and was featured in the book 10 Ways to Change the World in Your 20s. 3 weeks after graduating from SPU with a bachelor's degree in international affairs, she was crowned as Miss Washington 2006 and went on to place in the top 10 at the Miss America pageant. She shared a speaking platform with former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, led a delegation of professional soccer players to learn about global health projects in Tanzania, and opened a historic battle reenactment in Japan. Kristen and her husband, Michael, who is here with us today, live in Seattle with their Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, Finley? Finley.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kristen. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks very much. And I have to, I can't go any further without saying thank you so much, Brianna, for doing all of this work to put this together. What a beautiful evening we're all enjoying because of Brianna. It's such a joy to be here tonight at Pierce College. My husband and I drove up and saw the buildings. This is the first time, I'm from Washington State, and yet this is the first time I've been to Pierce College. This is such a beautiful campus. So I hope that you all know what a gem you have in your community. You are certainly very lucky people. So before I start, I received a list of all of the countries that the students from Pierce College are from, and so I'm going to take a crack at welcoming all of you in your language, and you can go ahead and correct me if I am wrong, but I would also love if I call out your country, if you would just raise your hand, because I think we'd all love to see who's in the room tonight. So, China, Ni hao, Ni hao ma, Hong Kong, Lei hao, Vietnam, ciao. Korea, this is one I'm not sure. Annyeong haseyo. Yay, okay, yes. Japan, konbanwa. Japan, anyone? Oh, I was so hoping. Oh, yay. Cambodia, suste. Susede, great, thank you. And Taiwan, ni hao also. Ni hao. Indonesia, sulamat. Sulamat? Salam alaikum. India, namaste. Yee, I love this. Turkey, merhaba. And then I know Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, salam alaikum. Uganda, hujambo. Oh, they're laughing. I got it wrong. Thailand. Sawadio. Yeah, I heard it. Sawadio. Somebody is here from Thailand. The Philippines. Kumastaka. Okay, thank you. Hello. Is it Macau or Macau? Macau. Hello. Laos. Sabadio. Germany, gute Nacht. Brazil, Spain, hola. I know that one. South Africa. Do we have a South African here? How's it? Slovakia, Dombraden. Senegal, bonjour. Romania, salut. Portugal, hola. Nepal, namaste as well. Mongolia. Anyone from Mongolia? Sain ba, oh no, this is another one. Sain bai nau. That was not so good, I apologize. Ivory Coast. Yeah, bonjour. I love it, we've got West Africa in the house. Ghana. I heard Ghana's not here, but for my husband who is from Ghana, Etisin. Georgia. Georgia. Oh, okay. You can really help me with this. Gamar Joba? Yes! Okay, I'm almost done here. But I really want to welcome everyone because this is such a pleasure to be in front of so many different cultures. Equatorial Guinea. Bonjour. The Congo, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Mbote. Colombia. Hola. Canada. Who's here from Canada? Eh? The unofficial welcome. Bangladesh. Namaskar. So, for everyone here who is American, hello, thank you, good evening. It is a pleasure to be with you. What a joy to stand in front of you. I always like to know who I'm speaking with, so I'm going to ask for a little audience participation. So who in the room is a current exchange student? Current exchange students, just raise your hand. I know we have a lot of exchange students. International students. Sorry, I should say international students. Oh, we have many. Ooh, that's great. Who is a former exchange student or international student? Yes. We have 1, 2. Who in some way contributes to Pierce College's international program? We have many. Wonderful. Thank you all for being here. And I want to know who are members of the broader community who came tonight just because you're interested in the subject of tonight's program. That is fabulous. Well, today I want to talk to you about 4 things. I want to talk to you about international exchange, clean water, my grandpa, and building cathedrals. And I'll keep it as short as I can because I know that what's next is actually the best thing to come tonight. So I don't want to stand in the way of it. When I was 16, I was an exchange student in Kure, Japan. That's why I was so hoping that there were Japanese students here. It was a transformative experience for me because I embraced the opportunity as fully as I knew how to embrace that opportunity. I committed to fully experiencing the culture. Everywhere I could, I was wearing a yukata, and I ate as many things as I could, especially the things that I didn't recognize, and actually learned to love Japanese food. And I'm from small town Washington. I'm from Silverdale, and so it was really the first time my eyes were even open to other cultures. I immersed myself in the language. I'd taken a year of Japanese, but it really wasn't until I was in Japan, and I understand your story, that I started speaking Japanese, because learning Japanese here from an American teacher was very different from being in my host home, where my host mother and father only spoke Japanese. They didn't speak English. And so if I wanted breakfast, I needed to know how to speak Japanese, and I love breakfast. So food motivated me to learn the language. I, in fact, even did the robot. I don't know if you know, I know we have break dancers in the room who can do this 100,000 times better than I can. But I was in Tokyo one day and I was told, oh, if you go and stand in that window, they're filming the Japanese equivalent of the Today Show. And you can do, if you dance, they'll put you on the Today Show. And so I did the robot. And that was the first time my host parents saw me, because I hadn't traveled out to my home. And my host dad managed to tell me in Japanese that he was quite embarrassed that was how he saw me. So when I went to Japan, I went with 2 other American students, but I made a point specifically to hang out with as many Japanese people as possible, and to make friends that I just cherished while I was there, who really taught me about the culture and who helped me understand more about myself. So what Japanese culture taught me more than anything, though, was how to show respect on a whole new level. The Japanese culture is a beautiful culture built on tradition and respect. And I think actually the United States could learn an incredible amount about respect from Asian cultures, from African cultures, from Middle Eastern cultures. So it wasn't until I was walking through Hiroshima the city ravaged by an American atomic bomb in World War II, that I truly understood the importance of international exchanges. As an American, I'll be honest, I felt very ashamed as I walked through the museum that now marks the site where the bomb was dropped. One building remains to this day, the skeleton of a dome, an ever-present reminder of international misunderstanding and disagreement. One survivor of the bombing shared her story with us. Her face was visibly scarred by the radioactive waves that had hit it decades ago. And she told us about how normal that day started, that she was with her family early in the day and had ventured out to run an errand. And when the bomb struck, the city went into utter chaos. And she ran to find members of her family, and she couldn't find any. I was struck by her willingness to share with us her painful story. The three of us were all American teenagers. She told us she forgave the U.S., and when we asked her why she so generously shared her story with us, she said, "So that you will never forget what happened here, so that you will commit to resolving disagreement through education and peace." That, to me, is what international exchange is all about. She showed us to the 1,000 paper cranes in the museum and told us the story of a young girl who was hospitalized following the bombing. The little girl was told that if she made 1,000 paper cranes, that she would be granted one wish. So she started folding every piece of paper she could find. Nurses would bring scraps of paper to her bed. She would tear off the edges of pages and fold little cranes with the help of a needle. This little girl so badly wanted to make 1,000 paper cranes so that she could get her wish. She died before she reached her goal. So her nurses committed to finishing for her because they too believed in her wish. So what was it that she wished for? Peace. My time in Japan shaped who I am. Since then, I've traveled to Sierra Leone to teach English in an orphanage. I've been to India to help preserve the stories of Tibetan refugees. I went back to Japan, as my bio says, to open the reenactment of the Battle of Kawanakajima, which, by the way, was the coolest thing I have ever done. The entire city shuts down, and everybody has costumes, and they reenact this battle scene from the 1300s, and it's beautiful, and it's a full day. And then in after 2010, I had the opportunity to travel to Haiti after the earthquake to witness firsthand the need for a tuberculosis vaccine so that I could better understand how to advocate for people who have tuberculosis, malaria, and HIV around the world. I have a love of other cultures because I believe people at the core of who they are want to relate to each other. It's hard to hate someone when you're sharing dinner with them. I especially love international exchange because it generally happens at a young age. Intolerance is inherited. Nobody is born intolerant. So when we experience other cultures at a young age, we expand our understanding of others and their differences, and we simultaneously understand ourselves so much better. I so believe in international education that I took it on as my platform when I was Miss Washington. I was the first contestant in Miss America history to have an internationally focused platform. And I went to Washington, D.C. to lobby on behalf of increased study abroad opportunities. It was while I was in D.C. that I met Barack Obama. And so international education has really opened extraordinary doors in my own life. And I so believe in it. And it's really full circle that here I am all of these years later getting to speak with all of you about international education when you're living it. You are examples of what I talk about all of the time. So I so admire what you're doing and know that my hat is off to you. I know it's hard work, and it's especially difficult to live in a culture where everyone expects you to speak English, and maybe people don't know where your country is on a map. And so you're constantly in the position to educate and be patient with people. So my hat is off to you. I love other cultures so much, I couldn't marry an American. I had to marry a man from Ghana. I mean, this man right here, Michael. International curiosity led me to my career. I work for the Washington Global Health Alliance, as Brianna said. The Alliance is a collection of more than 60 of the world's leading global health organizations, including the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center, the University of Washington, Washington State University, PATH. My organization partners with the Seattle Sounders. Last year, I led a delegation from the team to Tanzania, and it was a really extraordinary thing to be able to introduce them to global health projects. The reason we were there was to spark partnerships among PATH, World Vision, the University of Washington, and Washington State University. And we had a few players on the trip with us. The most notable player is Casey Keller, who is the first American to play professional football in Europe. I'll never forget the evening we arrived to Tanzania and had dinner with the CEO of Vision Fund Tanzania. Adrian, Casey, and I talked until 1 in the morning. Adrian is the CEO of Vision Fund Tanzania. We talked until 1 in the morning, and I'll never forget what he said. He said, in order to do this work, international aid and development work, in order to empower others, you must be empowered yourself. That was very poignant, coming from a man who had left a lucrative career on Wall Street to move his entire family to Tanzania to work on smallholder lending and microloans for farmers. So I want to tell you about our time in Tanzania and just give you a little glimpse into a trip that I took with some fabulous soccer players who were seeing firsthand great need, and maybe for the first time in their lives were seeing great need in other cultures and other countries. We spent our first full day in Arusha. We started it with a bumpy ride in a World Vision SUV as we made our way out to a World Vision school. We chatted excitedly as we drove past Mount Kilimanjaro, and I was deeply engaged in conversation when I noticed that our car got very quiet, which was quite unusual for this group as they were very chatty people. I looked up to see all of the eyes staring out the right side of our car. As I followed their gaze, I saw in the midst of this vast desert a group of women, dozens of them, standing by a well, collecting water. They had dirty jerry cans and they had marbled buckets that couldn't have held more than half a day's water supply. But perhaps the most disturbing thing we saw was the number of young girls that were there. Our cameraman broke the silence by asking why all of these girls weren't in school. I mean, here we were driving to a nearby school that was in session at that moment, and these girls weren't in those classrooms. Our guide from World Vision told us for many of these girls, today is their turn to collect water. Tomorrow will be their sister's turn to collect water. Imagine that in our own context. Missing out on 20% of school. It's the equivalent of missing out on 3rd, 5th, and half of 8th grade, or whatever other disruptive 2.5-year stretch you choose. No wonder so few girls go on to secondary education. Put yourself in the shoes of a girl who is missing 1 day a week because she is busy collecting water. It's impossible to catch up after missing 1 day a week. On average, women and girls in Africa walk 6 kilometers per day to fetch water. Generally, when I hear statistics, I have to draw parallels in my own life in order to truly understand the numbers. The only parallel I can really think about is that of running a 5K. So generally, I run a 5K in a pretty slow 33 minutes. It's about a 10-minute mile. I'll admit I am not a fast runner. So if I ran a 6K, it would take me about 40 minutes. If I walked a 6K, it would take me about an hour and a half. If I walked a 6K every day for a year and totaled the number of hours I'd spent walking, it would come out to 547.5. So now this is where I'm going to need some audience participation. Who has a cell phone with a calculator. I'm going to ask you to pull out your cell phone, if you have it. I see a few if you do. And I'm going to ask you to divide 547.5 by the total number of hours in a year, 8,760. 547.5 divided by 8,760. And when you get the percentage, go ahead and yell it out for me. Move the decimal point 2 points to the right. 6%. That's right. 6%, you got it. On average, 6% of every year is spent gathering water. Now, maybe that 6% doesn't seem like a lot to you, but think about that number in aggregate. Stanford engineers studied this and published their results in the journal Environmental Science in 2012. And you know what they found? That in aggregate, in total, 40 billion hours are spent collecting water on the continent of Africa. 40 billion. 8 of every 10 African households do not have access to safe water in their homes. You see how in aggregate that 6% becomes crippling to consistency in education, to economic development, to women's empowerment. Water is a women's issue. Here's something else that's interesting. That same study found that cutting the walking time to a water source by just 15 minutes can reduce the death of children under 5 by 11%. And it also slashes the prevalence of nutrition-depleting diarrhea by 41%. It's pretty phenomenal what clean water can do. So we know this, clean water changes everything. So I've just given you some bleak numbers and statistics over this really beautiful dinner you're having, so I promise things are going to get better. What can you do about this? This is something I hope that you'll all ask yourselves, because I believe this is not an American issue. This is an issue for the global community. And the reason why I've chosen to highlight this in front of so many different cultures is because I believe that this world needs to combine efforts so that we can help the continent of Africa get clean water so that the continent of Africa can succeed in ways that they have yet to be able to do. So here's where I transition and tell you something a little closer to home for me. I want to talk about my grandpa. My grandfather challenged me to not be overwhelmed at the thought of doing something large when on my 30th birthday this year he said, "Take the next decade to really invest in something. Learn to play the piano, commit to giving to a cause you care about, learn another language. By the time you're my age, 84, you'll be the most interesting person in the world. You'll speak multiple languages, play music you never knew you had in you, and give substantial support to causes you care about. Imagine what kind of an impact you could make for women and girls if you committed to using your time and talent to help people around the world have access to clean water. Not just today, but consistently over the next decade using your time and talents. That's legacy. That's something your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren will know about." This summer, my husband and I were married. My husband, Michael, is sitting right here. And actually, Michael could be up on the stage because he is a phenomenal speaker, and his book is coming out in February. I highly recommend you talk with him about it. It's going to change the world, I believe. My grandfather came out of retirement to marry us. My grandfather's a pastor. And what a joy it was for me to walk down the aisle toward two men who mean so much to me. Just one day later, the day after we were married, my grandfather suffered a massive heart attack. And that nearly took his life. And he made us all aware that each day we have left with him is a precious gift. And you wouldn't believe what a peace he has about this stage in his life. My grandfather is at peace with whatever lies ahead because he's left a beautiful legacy for the generations of our family who came after him. He's completely changed our family tree by placing generosity and international understanding and love of people at its center. As I close, I want to talk with you about building cathedrals. A decade ago, the man who led a team that eradicated smallpox, the only disease that we have eradicated on this earth. Dr. Bill Foege spoke to the World Health Assembly, which is comprised of all of the health ministers of the countries in the world. Dr. Foege said, "The work that you're doing is like the work of those who 900 to 1,000 years ago started building cathedrals. They invested in something that would take hundreds of years to complete. So they were aware that they would never see the finished product, but they invested anyway, knowing their investments were important for humanity. So I ask you today, and I leave you with this question: what is your cathedral? What is it that you're doing today that your family will remember you for? I'm sure that your families will all remember that you've had this incredible international exchange experience. I know that you are building a cathedral of international understanding and cultural competence that this world really needs right now. So I hope that you take this opportunity to learn all that you can from our culture and infuse all of the best things about your culture and teach us what we need to know. I think that your opportunity here is actually not just as a student. I think your opportunity here is as a teacher. Help us understand Pakistan. Help us understand Turkey. Help us understand what we need to know about your people so that we can better understand and better interact. So consider this. Your cathedral starts today. As you leave this room, you're going to be exposed to so many different presentations today from different continents. So what are you going to do with what you learned today? I encourage you to build a cathedral of international understanding and cultural awareness. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Kristen. That's great. So on that note, we'd like to start by welcoming our first student performer, Nim. Nim Chan is a Pierce College Intensive English Program international student, and she's from Hong Kong. So Nim is an extremely talented young lady. She started playing the violin when she was 4 years old. She was taught by her father, actually, and she also attended a music school in Guangzhou. When Nim graduates from Pierce College, she wants to go on to study violin and play in an orchestra in Asia. So she has some pretty ambitious and extremely attainable goals that she has set for herself because she is incredibly talented, and we're so honored to have her today to play for us. She wanted to share that her favorite violin virtuoso is by the late David Ostrach. And so today she's going to be playing 2 of those pieces. So Nim, if you'd like to come up. So as I listened to Nim, I found myself tearing up a little bit and thinking back to Kristen's story about her grandfather, and thinking about my grandfather and how he would take us to the Nutcracker, and I would see him sitting next to me bawling his eyes out. And I was like, I'm just not quite understanding why you're crying right now. This is a beautiful ballet, and you see Claire and the fairy princesses and the snowflakes and the dancers, and it's all so beautiful. I never really, as a child, made that connection of such powerful emotions that come with a universal language. And tonight we heard a universal language of talent, but through the music. And so I just really want to thank Nim for bringing that to us tonight, because it really highlights what we're all here for and what we're about, is sharing something that maybe we don't all know another language, maybe we aren't familiar with other cultures and we want to get there, but I think that a great start is by opening ourselves up to what some of our students have to teach us, just like Kristen said. And with Nim, just thank you so much for sharing your skills and your amazing talent with us through that beautiful musical language. It's really amazing. I'd like to go ahead and segue into our taiko drummer performers. They're from a group called OKK Taiko. They're actually a non-profit group that performs throughout the Seattle and Olympia-Tacoma region. And so we're really honored to have them here tonight. I just found a few things about taiko that I just wanted to share with some of you. It's a Japanese art, and in general, it's often used to mean a modern Japanese drum ensemble, but the word taiko is actually talking about the drums themselves. So these are taiko drums. There's a vast array of shapes and sizes of taiko. Some of you may have seen it before. Drums the size of a car and dancing around. So tonight we have a smaller array of taiko, but we're excited to see what they have. Taiko also promises to be the first native Japanese music to spread through the world, with their active sharing so much of their talent with us, and we just thank them for that.
Sorry, Ian, be careful. There's an audience there. He jumps all over the place, so I have to warn him. Be careful. Okay, let's go. Ready to go.
Okay, ready to go.
join us on this one.
Okay, next one. Ian.
Here goes Mike.
Someone who's out of breath. All right, so for all of you guys, this is our last song. So I'd like for all of you guys to participate. You can stand up, dance. You can do kind of a wax on, wax off type of thing. So we're gonna be hitting
Don't
it.
forget, open the windows. Close the window.
Open window, close window. Can't forget that. So if you guys want to, stand up and join us and have a lot of fun with us on this last song. It's
Okay,
pretty
everybody
easy.
stand up and then let's have fun together. Okay, are you ready?
Come on, you guys.
Okay. You have to dance, otherwise you cannot go home tonight. All right, so everybody get up and let's dance.
Thank you. Okay, Kate Tycho. Great performance.
We're gonna take the podium away, right? Oh wait. No, we gotta take this
All
up.
right.
No, he's doing that wireless. Okay.
We're moving along nicely here. Quite the presentation.
We're gonna take this
So
one
next
completely out.
we have another group of talented students, performers, Pierce College student, and we have a Green River Community College student joining here today in their breakdancing. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about our breakdancers because there's a pretty cool backstory to who we have today. So our Pierce College student, Kenny Sang, grew up in Hong Kong. His parents were business people, gone on trips all the time, and Kenny was left at home to his own devices. Well, I think that his parents would be pretty proud of Kenny because what he did and chose to pursue is pretty incredible. So Kenny spent 2, 3, 4 hours a day after classes or when he was done with his schoolwork, going and dancing with a dance crew in Hong Kong and breakdancing. So all of his practice paid off, and he eventually ended up finding himself competing in the Hong Kong National Championship for breakdancing and was awarded Hong Kong National Champion breakdancer. And the best part is that as a Pierce College student, Kenny is here teaching our other students how to breakdance. He holds sessions in our health education building And they spend hours after class, and you can see them in there after school any day. And he got them up on their heads, and it's pretty incredible. So we really thank Kenny a lot for bringing his talent to our students, and just another way that we are sharing cultures and learning about each other through a great talent exchange here. So Sam is Kenny's dancing partner tonight, and Sam is from the Tacoma troupe, I believe, where they practice together in a dance crew. Kenny actually goes up and down from all the way up from Seattle and down to Olympia with different dance troupes, practicing with them and performing with them. So he's found a great way to plug himself in to our community, which is also amazing, and we're very proud of him for doing that. So I'd like to introduce our two break dancers, Kenny and Sam, and let's get some music going. All right. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to have our fashion show. So we've grouped our students in groups of countries. So I think we're starting out with Japan, and we'll go on, and we have a pretty wide range and variety. So test. Okay, can everyone hear me? Great. Okay. Our first model, Abigail, she is modeling a kimono from Japan. The kimono is, go ahead Abigail, you can start walking. The kimono is a traditional garment in Japan. They're T-shaped, straight-line robes worn so that the hem falls to the ankle. With attached collars and long wide sleeves, the kimono is wrapped around the body and always with the left side over the right, except when dressing the dead for burial. And secured by a sash called an obi, which is tied at the back. And today, a kimono are most often worn by women on special occasions. A few older women and even fewer men still wear the kimono on a daily basis. Men wear the kimono most often at weddings, tea ceremonies, and very formal occasions. David is modeling more of a casual summer Japanese dress for us today. Thank you, David. And here is another kimono, and she has the traditional sandals on with them. Okay, go ahead. This would be a kimono that you might see at a male wearing at a tea ceremony. More of the robe style. Thank you, Lindsay. Our next model is wearing the Austrian dirndl. And the dirndl consists of the bodice, blouse, full skirt, and apron. And while appearing to be simple and plain, a properly made dirndl may be quite expensive, as it's tailored and sometimes cut from costly hand-printed or silk fabrics. The winter-style dirndl is heavy and has warm skirts and aprons made of thick cotton. Okay. We have a lot of students from Vietnam, and she's wearing the ao dai. The ao dai is the Vietnamese national dress. To the Vietnamese people, ao dai has always been synonymous with grace and beauty. Throughout the many trials and tribulations of Vietnam's history, the ao dai has remained unchanged in its symbolism and the image it conjures in the hearts of all Vietnamese. It is the national dress for both Vietnamese men and women. However, the ao dai is now most commonly worn by women. To the Vietnamese people, rich or poor, the ao dai is still the dress of choice on a social occasion and enjoys a preference on special occasions, such as weddings, Lunar New Year, and various festivals. Sometimes it's also chosen as a uniform for high school female students. From India, we have the salwar kameez, and Indian women have always been different when it comes to dressing style. The salwar kameez is now one of the most preferred dressing styles of Indian women, especially young ladies. The design itself allows the body to breathe the way it should, and at the same time, depending on the materials used, they can be suitable for all seasons, whether summer, winter, spring, or monsoon. Salwar kameez is suitable for almost all professions, and they are well-tailored suits made of appropriate materials that can look professional yet chic and elegant. Arab hijab, the Middle Eastern. Hijab is a veil that covers the head and chest, mostly worn by Muslim or Saudi Arabian men. Thank you, Selena, one of our native students here, is wearing a more modern, less traditional type wedding dress. In America, weddings are a traditional way to commit your love and life to someone. White dress, lace, sparkles, something new, something blue, or something borrowed. Innocence and purity. Weddings in America can be extravagant or simple, but the dress is usually white. The dragon and phoenix is a Chinese traditional symbols for men and women, usually for a wedding dress. Please notice the back of Phoebe's costume, where you can see the phoenix. And in front of the boy's costume, we have the dragon. I think we have some aspiring models here. The cow pao is the stylish and often tight-fitting, created in the 1920s in Shanghai, made for fashionable societies and upper-class women. The original kopai was wide and loose. It covered most of the women's body, revealing only the head, hands, and tips of the toes. So now the modern version is more tailored and tightly fitted, and recognized popularly in China as the standard kopao. And that was the man's top version of it. Here's the last kopao dress. People eagerly sought a more modernized style of dress and transformed the old kopao to suit their tastes. Slender and form-fitting, with a high cut, it had great differences from the traditional kopao. It is a high-class courtesan and celebrities in the city that redesigned the tight-fitting kopao popular at that time. And here is a more feminine version of the Southwest China jacket worn during a festival, worn by our beautiful Vietnamese model, An. Our next is our Mexican traditional dress, and usually it's woven fabric on looms that take months for the women to make, and these are more colorful versions worn during festivals. Phoebe is wearing a more casual, everyday wear of the Nepali people. Xinjiang is the northwest region of China. The pattern on the front of the vest is very characteristic of things that you would see the Xinjiang people wearing. Here we have a Middle Eastern hijab and abaya. The veil covers the head and chest, particularly worn by Muslim women beyond the age of puberty in the presence of adult males outside of their immediate family. Most often worn as a symbol of modesty, privacy, and morality. We have some more from our talented Shalom. We have a dashiki from Uganda. Dashiki is a colorful garment widely worn in West Africa, covers the top half. The name dashiki is derived from the word danshiki, which means skirt, shirt, skirt. The wrap dress. The yellow African fabric represents tropical weather and abundant sunshine. Also represents the dawning of a new day. Perfect. That wraps up our fashion show, ladies and gentlemen. So, just like to thank you all for being here. And just thank you for being part of such a special evening. And we hope that as the first annual International Celebration Dinner, we hope that we can continue the tradition of honoring our international students and those of you who serve them in our department so diligently. So thank you, and feel free. You do have little desserts on your plate. You see a lot of them are untouched. It's apple crisp, so help yourself and stay as long as you like. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.